My name is Holly Ann Knight, and welcome to the first Machine Quilting Monday video post. So the first thing before we get started is I want to talk about posture today. So what you may not know is that I spent a number of years as a pre-professional ballerina, and in ballet, posture is absolutely everything. And I've been experimenting with posture as I've started working on the long arm. And these things work on the domestic machine too, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But some things I want you to keep in mind. When you're working on the long arm, you want to keep your spine straight. Your abdominal muscles should be engaged. So what that means is that your belly button is slightly in and up. You're not sucking in, you're just slightly flexing those muscles. And your arms are relaxed on the handles of your long arm. Now, when you're working, your temptation is going to be to move your face closer to your work, and you're going to do that in a couple of ways. The first thing is you're going to round your shoulders, and then you'll find yourself sticking your chin out like this. Now, this puts a lot of pressure on this part of your neck and on this part of your back. So if you're having pain in those areas or pain across the back of your shoulders, the first thing you need to do is you need to straighten up and open up when you're working. Now, I understand that's going to be hard, especially if you've been working on the long arm for a long time. You have your muscle memory established, and if you've built that muscle memory with poor posture, it's going to be harder to fix it. But really take the time before you start working on the long arm, stretch your shoulders back a little bit, practice flexing those abdominal muscles, flex your back, and what that does is it warms up all of those muscles and it makes you aware of them on your body. So then when you go to long arm, you can actually be moving the long arm not so much with your arms, but from your core. And I was particularly experimenting with this with pebbles yesterday, because that's something that I found that I really want to be right down here, because I don't know if y'all can tell how thick my glasses are, but I have incredibly bad eyesight. So my tendency is to be right up on anything I'm doing. But I was practicing keeping those shoulders down and back, engaging my core, and really keeping my body upright. And I found that even though my face and my eyes were further away from what I was doing, my pebbling actually improved, because I relied more on my sensory awareness and my spatial awareness than on just the information I was getting from my eyeballs. So my challenge to you this week is, when you are quilting, to really maintain good body posture. And while this will be challenging at first, it will ultimately enable you to work longer on your machine and to work without pain. And we all want to make sure we're working without pain. Now, when you're working on your domestic, these same things apply. Instead of standing, you'll be sitting, which, side note on that, if you spend long amounts of time sitting to do your quilting, make sure that at least every 30 minutes to an hour you get up and move for 5 or 10 minutes. Get your blood flowing again. You don't want too much blood pooling in your legs. That's going to cause all sorts of icky things. The same thing, you'll be sitting, but have that same central body posture. Now, when you're working at a table to quilt, you can bring your body forward without rounding the spine to get a little closer to what you're doing. But again, just continue to engage those upper body muscles, and you'll find that ultimately your quilting will improve. You'll learn new muscle techniques, and you'll be able to work without pain and with greater endurance.